Life and lifestyle. Another market recap for you guys. I want to get this one done early today. Round 24, August the 26th. Yeah, August the 26th. Trying some box buster. I thought it said blockbuster. You guys know the drill. We're gonna go over the watch list for the day. What died, what triggered, what hit targets. You would like to learn from the people I learned from, get you to the stock market playlist. 30 resources for $30. Follow me on IG, where I post lifting videos and sometimes my stock stuff. And follow me on Twitter, where I post mostly my stock stuff, which I need to catch up on. So today's watch list was similar to yesterday's watch list, where a lot of trades ended up having bad spreads by the time I wanted to get into them. Today's trades were Baidu, K-Web, Box, Mar, Duke, NKE, which is Nike, EFA, SID, FSR, TME, FTCH, which is Farfetch, Baidu, Netflix, FXI, and IBM. So let's go over what died. Today, 2 trades died, technically. One of them died because it just wasn't, it was moving in the wrong direction. The other one died because I just shouldn't have got into it. Wolf, Petco. You guys remember Petco from, let me do the 2-day, 2-hour. Petco got into the call, actually I think it was a little further than that. Let me do the 10-day, 30-minute. Got into Petco around here, I believe. It went up. I got in at 25 bucks. I should have got in at 23 because it had a $10 spread, and the spread was closer to the downside than I thought it was, so I could have got it for 23. And it ran up to 27, which would have been about 20% if I would have got it for 23, but it was just 10%. So I was like, well, let's go in the right direction. I got plenty of time. I had like 3 weeks on it. I'm just hold it. Just let it ride. So the second day over here, it's still doing okay. It's still at 25, 22.50, 25, 22.50. But then today, it just goes down. Now, there was a bit of a market sell-off today. Let me use this one. Let's show you the SPY. The SPY fell, and the Qs fell, and part of that I believe is because of the there was news that there was a bombing in Afghanistan. As you guys may or may not know, we're pulling out all of our troops finally. Not to get political, because I'm not going to, but I just think, you know, we've been over there long enough, and if, you know, you can't fix someone's situation after, what, 20 years? Maybe you should let them do it themselves. And it's really shitty because no sooner than we closed the door, they was in there partying, for sake of the analogy. The Taliban's already taken over. I've talked with some friends of mine at my gym. They think that they're going to do a massive demonstration to show their power once the troops are going at the end of the month. And we will see. This might start another war, or we'll just mind our own business. Who knows? But with that market sell-off triggered by that bad news, Wolf, Petco, I guess, was caught up in that. Pretty much all the market was caught up in that, and a lot of puts were activated, which is definitely one I took advantage of. EFA. EFA, I do not know what this company is. I do not. It is an iShares Trust MCSI EAFE ETF. Matter of fact, I got time today. That's my Robinhood account. Let's see what that is. So the EFA, share conversations, performance, historical data, profile. Here we go. Let's get a profile on it. This is Yahoo Finance. Fund summary. Okay. Seeks to track the investment results of the MCSI index composed of large and mid capitalization developed market equities. Excluding the U.S. and Canada, the fund generally invests at least 80% of its assets in securities of the underlying index, and the depository receipts represent securities of the underlying index. The index measures the equity market performance of developed markets outside of the U.S. and Canada. Okay, so this measures how the market is doing outside of America, which is why it went down, because everyone's shitting their pants because of Afghanistan, more or less. So I took, this had some of the highest volume I have ever seen. I think it was over 100,000 for the calls open interest and over like 60,000 for the puts open interest. Massive. Anything over 10,000 is big. Anything over 50,000 is holy shit. I've never seen volume like that before, so this was on my watch list off rip just because of that. Now, the put seemed like it was triggered at the open, so I just watched it. It did a little movement. Right around here, I was looking for a reversal to the upside. So I got into the call early right here for 18 bucks. Had high volume, I had months on it. Let's just see what happens. But as the news kept coming about how the Afghanistan was going and whatnot, I was like, well, I got in this hella early. I shouldn't have done that. I did that before with, what company was it? I think it was AEP. I got into it directly off of a potential reversal. Not to know what the hell I was doing, just like, hey, it's 20 bucks, whatever. I was risking, in my mind, I'm risking like $4. I said I could pay $4 to learn something. And if I'm right, I might make $40, who knows? So I jumped in there at 18 bucks and it did nothing. And I got out at 15 bucks. I could have got out at 16, but I got out a little early. So I lost 17%, which is just $3. So that happened, but then after that happened up here, I got out of the call right up here. I got into the put to the downside. I got in the put at $30. I could have got the put at 25 if I would have acted around here. I could have got it for 25 bucks, but I got it for 30, and it's just been slowly dropping. Apparently this is a 24/7 ETF, but I'm not seeing any aftermarket movement, so I'm not sure how that works. But we'll see how this does tomorrow. I'm going to hold this one for a while. Also for Wolf, I had to sell it at a loss for 15 bucks. It was a $10 spread. I'm no longer doing spreads $10 and higher. I'm doing $10. I'm doing less than $10. So $9 or better. Uh-oh, what we got? I got commercials. I ain't giving out no free advertisement tag on it. So, I'll wait for that to finish so I get my music back. So yeah, so I got into the call. The call was up about 10% at the top, and then it fell, and it was down to $17.50, which isn't that bad. It's like $5, but the volume was so shitty. I'm like, let me just get out of this now. So I sold it at a loss for 15 bucks. So I lost 37% there, 36%. And that's because the spread was shitty. I could have just lost like $3, but the spread was shitty on that. So those are my 2 L's for the day. What was triggered? BODY, Beachbody. Beachbody might actually be popping later on this year, because if we end up getting shut down again, either due to fear of terrorism or whatever the fuck, or fear of the coronavirus or Delta variants or whatever the hell's going on with the society, people are going to be at home not working out again, so they need Beachbody. So Beachbody put was triggered in the morning. 750 put was triggered at 747, but it was a shitty spread, so it didn't do anything. I didn't take it, I didn't track it because the spread was bad. The spread went from about $5 to 15 bucks, and I'm like, I'm not watching it. So having that discipline, skip that on a shitty trade. Box Incorporated. Interesting. $20 put was triggered at 25.21, and this happened at the open, really. So this one didn't really activate on time, but it triggered and hit down here and went even further than that, all the way down here. And I did track what that did. I just wrote it down this time instead of trying to mark it on the charts. Excuse me. But then it went back up. You can almost say it died, I guess, because if it went all the way down to 23 and now it's back up to 25.50, that's pretty much resurrected. But as you see in the aftermarket, it looks like it's gearing up to fall again. So we'll see what this does tomorrow. I'm not going to watch it tomorrow, of course, because the spread was shitty. But it did hit a good percentage if you would have jumped in without looking at everything first. MAR, Marriott International. This is the hotel industry. Two biggest hotel brands are Marriott and Choice. Marriott owns pretty much all the big boys. Hilton, Hampton, Regency, Marriott's, Doubletrees, all that shit. And Choice owns everybody else. La Quinta, Best Western, Holiday Inn, Quality Inn. You know, the three and under tier. Still decent hotels. It's not the best. So those are the two guys. I learned that when I was in grad school. I had to do a report on the two companies' portfolios. So Marriott, the 120 put was triggered at 134.98. I should have took this, but I had ran out of buying power. If you don't know, if you don't have a margin account, which is where you basically borrow the money that you don't have yet so they can keep you trading, as long as you have 25 bands, after you make an option trade, that money is held to the following day. So let's say I bought 10 of these for $180, and then I sold them for $160. So I only lost $20. But that $160 cannot be used to buy this at the same time because they have to hold it. So you have to really pick your plays carefully when you're with a small account. Now, full transparency, I had a much larger account my first weekend, but then my second weekend, I wiped out about half of it. So now I'm trying to build it back up without fucking up anymore, which is why I've changed my criteria to understand exactly what I was doing wrong. NKE Nike. Nike usually falls with the SPY. So I always watch Nike when the SPY is falling. The SPY is falling. The Nike, what's that? That's something else. I got an email from Robinhood. The Nike put, 155 put, early entry was 169.53, true entry 168.89. It hit both. If you catch the early, you can maybe take profits at the true entry if you want, depending on the percentages. Or you can add to your position, because that's where you should have got in anyway. Either one or the other. And that Nike put was beautiful. Let me remove that. Went all the way down here from 169.53 all the way to 166.30. Beautiful trade. This was a $50 put. I took this one. I got a good return on it. I could have did a little bit better if I would have caught it at the bottom. But my price target is down here, 165.42. So it was about $1 away from my price target. And then right around here, matter of fact, I'll show you that on another chart where I have the numbers on it. EFA, like I said, I took the put here for $30. It fell to 28, 29 because I had a bad feel. And now it's back to like 30, 31. So it's up a little bit. And we'll see where it goes. But the $77 put with over 60,000 open interests triggered at 80.15 and re-triggered at 80.08. So this is basically your buy zone. Let me highlight that. This right here is your buy zone. If you buy anywhere in here, you should be good to go. Load it up and watch it fall. And if this was a short, you would have got like 20 cents on the short. Let me think. 30 cents on a short, which is good if you have the volume for it. But if not, you know, you got what you got. FSR, this is a double trigger. The call was triggered right here. The $15 call for the month was triggered at $14.29, and it went up to $14.49. Now the volatility alone shot that contract up about 50%, and then it immediately reversed to the downside. So it killed itself, and then the 1250 put was triggered at the bottom at 1372. Now first price level to the top was 1475. It didn't get close. First price level to the bottom is 1311. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. Farfetch, good old Farfetch. You guys have probably seen this ticker before on my list. I think I caught it to the upside before. Now it's going to the downside. So the $40 put was triggered almost in the pre-market, but right at the open. $40 put was triggered at 42.44 for the early entry, 41.01 for the true entry. So you have a whole dollar to play with for your entry point. So So technically, this is also the buy zone. You can buy anywhere between the first entry and the second entry if you want to be so bold. But right here is the Bryant formation bottom. But this is a weak Bryant formation, I believe, not a strong one. Let me go out to the 30-day 4-hour chart. Okay, let's go a little bit harder. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah. See the Bryant formation top right there? This is the bottom. So it came under the bottom, hit the second entry point, bounced up. So this may have been a trigger for you to get out, maybe, depending on what it was doing. And then it turned back and now it's running. So now that it's running, this is now a resistance point. It was a support up here, now it's a resistance. So it's gonna keep on going down. So next price level for this, I haven't even marked it yet. I'm gonna say 39, let's just say $39. Farfetch was definitely a trade I should have took. But like I said, I had already ran out of money at that point and I was looking at something else. Baidu is one of the trades where I broke my rules. My rules are, it has to have a 2-1 on 2 out of 3 of the daily, weekly, and monthly charts. It must have a 2-1 or 2-1-2 in 2 out of 3 of those charts for it to even be considered. Baidu only had a 2-1 on a daily chart. But the volume, the call volume was so high, I think it was like 20, 30,000. And Baidu is one of the big Chinese companies right now, just like Baba, Lee, XPev, and Neo. So I was like, well, let me see what Baidu does. So Baidu popped at the open right here, 185 call, triggered at 155.83. It triggered right here, shot up. Early entry was at 155.32, true entry 155.83. Ran up to 158.37 for a nice little flip, fell back down to here and then reverse. So I got in for a secondary shot right here. I got in at 51. It was 55. I got it at 51. And now I'm gonna see what it does over the next couple of days. I have a few weeks on this. Depending on how good it does tomorrow, if it opens up under 154, I'll probably just get out and lose like $3 or $4. Netflix, 585 call was triggered at 549.27, but the true entry is at 555.55. 5 times. So since there's so much room for Netflix to move, I decided to get in right here. I got in right here for $80. It ran up to here. It was up about 10-15%. And then the volatility is so high because the call is so far out of the money. The volatility is just chopping you up. So matter of fact, no, I got in here. Ran up to here. It was up about 10-15%, came down to here. It was down over 20%. It technically hit my stop loss down here, but it was only there for a second. Because normally if it keeps going, I'm like, let me just get out. I was wrong. Let me get out of there. But the volatility was in my favor. It stayed over my entry point pretty much the rest of the day. So up here, it was up about 15% again. And now it's up about, now I think it's down about 10%. So we'll see what this does tomorrow. I feel like Netflix might do what like Microsoft did and Airbnb, which is why I was willing to hold it at such a low point, because I feel like it could pop tomorrow. There's some good news on Netflix. They just released some new gaming stuff, and they had a huge purchase from ARK Invest, which is Kathy Woods. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She's probably one of the greatest investors of the modern era. She's definitely going to be the next like Warren Buffett level billionaire off her investments. And you know, go girl power and all that bullshit. So that went up. So I'm gonna watch this for tomorrow. FXI. This one triggered at the open. This one had the highest volume, period. Matter of fact, let me go to the options chain. And it's a monthly 39 put. Look at that. Over 100,000. Can y'all see that? Let me highlight it right there. Over 100,000 volume. Never seen that before. Never. I think with EFA it was like 60. Let me see. EFA 82 call was their high volume. Okay, EFA was at 70,000. Not right now. EFA was at 70,000, and the 77 put was at 23,000. FXI is at 100,000. Massive volume. Don't know shit about them either, but it seems like iShares Trust China LG Cap ETF. That's part of a large cap ETF, so I guess it's tracking China's market. And China's market isn't doing too hot right now. Not 100% sure why, but China's going through it a little bit. So obviously they fail. Now, I did this yesterday. As you can see right here, it was already at the early entry point before market close, because it was right here. The early entry was at 40.54. True entry 40.26. It gapped from 40.54 and opened the following morning at 39.90. There wasn't nothing I could do about that. It was already gone before I got there, so I just stopped watching it. But I did track to see how well it did. Kind of wish I would have caught this one. That was a pretty good, easy flip, really. You just buy it and sell it the next day. Like there's no thought process. And Wolf. I say the put. No, there's no put on Wolf. I didn't write a put, so I don't know why I put that there. Yeah, and that is what was triggered. Yeah. All right, what hit targets? Box, BOX, hit for 50% technically. The $20 monthly put was $10. The spread was 0 and 20. So you get the middle, which is $10. Maybe you could have got it for 8. I don't know. When there's a 0 on the bid, I'm not taking it. It's too risky. But if you wanted to be risky, you got it at 10. Way down here, the spread was 5 and 20. So the minimum part, the medium was like 15. It was like 12 to 15. So depending on where you got it, you're technically up 50 to 100%, just like that. But I don't know, because I didn't take it. But I'm going to just say, for the sake of the argument, you were up 50% if I would have caught that. MAR 120 put hit for 20% and then 30% way down here. So if you know my rules, it already has a 20% lock in. So that's the minimum I can make at that point. EFA, let me see. The $77 put hit the first target. It's up about 1%, maybe 2%. We'll see how that does tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that one to completely die. FSR, the monthly $15 call went from 55 to 75. And that little jump right there. So that little pop right there gave you 36%. And I missed it. Hey, you can't catch them all. The put hasn't done anything yet. We'll see what that does tomorrow. Baidu, when the first run up happened, it hit for 28%. It went from 50 to 70. No, it went from 55 to 70. My re-entry, I got in at 51, and right now it's at like 46, 47, so I'm down like 10% right now. FXI triggered at the open and hit for, where is it? Hit for 20% right around here. Maybe a little more, maybe 25% now. But as I said, I wasn't watching it. Nike was the trade of the day. The put I caught right here hit for 40% down here. I locked in my exits, and then I said once it goes over 167, I'm gonna get out. I didn't hold to that because 167 was right here, and I sold it. 167 is right here actually, and I sold it at 167.25. I could have sold it at 68, which would have been like 38%, but I sold it at 65 for 30%. So I made 30% on that trade from 50 to 65. I could have went from 50 to 70, even 72. But it was moving so well, I was like, well, let me hold it till it gets down here. Once it reversed around, I said, okay, let me pick an exit point and just take my money and leave. Granted, it did that, and now it kind of kept going, so it almost hit 75 for 50%. But now it's coming back up again, so we'll see what that does tomorrow. Because the market is starting to reverse itself now. Farfetch, the put I missed that broke through the Brown formation and has nowhere left to hold it up, hit for over 50% down here. And it's probably going to hit 100% tomorrow at the rate it's going. Shouldn't have missed that one. And is that everything? Yep, that's all of those. So those are the trades for the day. Let me show you guys something. This right here, let me close this, is my chart setup. I have the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. I have 6 charts. They all stay on the same mark. They all have the strat preloaded on them, which you can get off the internet. I decided against selling my strat program because it's such widely available information. You just need to do your Googles. Just Google the strat and it'll probably get you there. So, right here, this is the hourly chart. It's the lowest time frame I'm willing to chart with, outside of picking the exit points. Entries and exits goes to the 15, but this is the hourly. Right here, we have a 2 down, and then a 2 down, and a 2 up. So this is what some would call a 2-2 reversal, where, you know, you have a big bar and then a bigger bar goes in the other direction. So this made me think, well, maybe it's going to go to the upside now. So I took a long call. The call was a $50, it was a monthly 180 call, was at $50. I took it at $44. And I'm going to watch it to see what it does. Because this is it. If this is here we go. If this is a 2-2 reversal to the upside, that means it should retrace all of this tomorrow, which is from 147.50 up to 170. So that's like, I mean 167.50 up to 170. That's $3. That's like 2%, or 0.2%, I guess. Yeah, it's like 2%. So if it retraces 2% tomorrow, which would be awesome. It mostly has to do with what the market's going to do. If the market tanks, it'll fall and I'll get out. I have a very tight stop loss on that. I have a 10% stop loss, so I'm risking $4. And if it falls all the way, I'm gonna get out. If it falls in the morning, I'm gonna just get out, take my L. But if not, let's see what it does. It's already up technically. Let me see. I already closed that out, never mind. It's already up technically. Let me go. This is Webull. Let's look at a Nike. Wait, what am I doing it on here? I can look up the options chain on Thinkorswim. This is why you have more than one trading platform. So look up Nike. The 180 call. See, the call is already up. I got it at 44, and it's between 42 and 45, so I haven't lost anything. And the put I had bought before was at 70. It was at 70 something, and now it's at like 50. I don't know what just happened there. The put was at 70 something, and now it's at 67. That's a good sign. So we'll see what this does tomorrow. I'm really looking for this to go somewhere and to make me some good gains. So yeah, that covers it. This is a much longer video than I thought it was going to be. But just give you guys my breakdown of what I'm looking for, how I've traded it, and what I've been doing it. I will consider today a green day. Let me think. 15, 3. Yeah, today was a green day, barely green, but green nonetheless. And we will see what tomorrow brings. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.